Bulldogs fans, I wish the only thing I had to talk to you about from Georgia's 50-30 win against LSU in the SEC Championship is defensive lineman Jalen Carter picking up LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels with one arm and celebrating in the other after a sack. I wish the only thing I had to talk to you guys about was Georgia having the guts to go for a trick play on a 2-point conversion to get to the 50-point mark. But LSU actually had more total yards than Georgia in this game. So you guys are gonna have to take the very, very good with a little bit of the bad. Hey everybody, this is Sarah Spencer with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and this is Know Your Dogs. To help me process Georgia's win in the SEC Championship, I'll be joined by quarterback Stetson Bennett, safety Chris Smith, Georgia coach Kirby Smart, and my coworker, our Georgia beat writer Chip Towers. So stay with us. Okay, first let's start with the good, namely that first half. First, Nazir Stackhouse blocks a field goal for Georgia. Then safety Chris Smith picks it up, but it takes everybody several seconds to remember that that ball is live. He returns at 96 yards for a Georgia touchdown. Then after a pass breakout by Smith, the ball does this wonky bounce off an LSU player's helmet. Smile Munden reels in an interception. The next play for Georgia from scrimmage is a Stetson Bennett touchdown pass. So basically everything's going Georgia's way in that first half. And actually, Georgia put up 21 points in the second quarter alone and scored 35 points in the first half. That ties an SEC championship record for the most points in a first half with 35.
Yeah, like Coach said, that's a scenario that we go over a lot. And, we know if the ball passed the line of scrimmage, we had an opportunity to be able to pick it up. And I was just waiting to get the go from the sideline. As soon as the sideline gave me the go, just picked it up and just start hitting it.
The rule is you're not allowed to pick it up unless you score with it. So.
Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett was 23 for 29, 274 passing yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. He was named MVP, and rightfully so. After the game, he talked about how this was a long time coming for this Georgia team. Actually, last year's national championship team, as we all remember, got stomped by Alabama in this very game, the SEC championship game. So yeah, they wanted this one, and they want to hang a banner.
Winning the SEC is a big deal. This is the best conference in football, and I think with national championships is huge and great, and that's our next goal. But SEC is the first goal, it's the first goal, second goal after winning the East. But winning the SEC championship, there's only one of those. It's a banner, right? It's the same thing as a national championship, just a little bit smaller scale. So yeah, it was important for us.
LSU backup quarterback Garrett Nussmeier came in the second half and immediately hit a 34-yard touchdown pass. He passed for 294 yards total, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But honestly, he looked great in the second half. And you know who didn't look good? Georgia's secondary. And really kind of the defense overall. LSU won the second half, 20-15, and Georgia's defense gave up 502 passing yards. That's just not gonna work moving forward in the college football playoff. It's only gonna get more competitive. Here's Georgia coach Kirby Smart on that second half defense.
Everything. There's nothing that we can't work on over the next 4 weeks, right? We do camp style practices. Our guys know everybody can get better. Conditioning level, tackling. But football's a tough, hard sport, and our guys embrace challenges. So I think they'll embrace the challenge of getting better, and you can't say you're going to go work on one thing, because then you'll be giving up on some other things. And we need to work on a lot of things. And our guys understand as the year goes on, teams tackle poorly, teams cover poorly, defense usually deteriorates, and that's not the culture here, and it won't be accepted or tolerated, so we got to fix it.
All right, everybody, let's bring in our Georgia beat writer, Chip Towers. Chip, this was just a weird game. You look at the score, and it looks like it's the Big 12 championship, not the SEC championship. From everything from the ways Georgia scored to that second half when LSU actually won the second half.
Yeah, they did. It was, it was the kind of game that Georgia was able to enjoy tonight. but Kirby and his staff are just going to rip to pieces in the next 4 weeks. It was funny, in the post-game press conference, as celebratory as it was, he was already talking about having camp-style practices, over the next month as they get ready for the college football semifinal. So, you can't let the fact that you won an SEC championship, just the fourth one since divisional play, get in the way of the fact that you just gave up, whatever you gave up passing, and really kind of let them up in the second half. That said, crazy first and second quarter, unbelievable second quarter, as good as Georgia probably has played all year, except for that very little tiny piece at the end of the second quarter. Otherwise, unbelievable second quarter.
Let's talk about those passing yards that Georgia gave up, though, because if you're a team, they're about to probably face some pretty darn good quarterbacks, either way you spin it.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. But if you're one of those quarterbacks, if you're one of those offensive coordinators, what are you thinking having watched the secondary struggle tonight? And, even Kirby Smart talked about how Malachi Starks, safety, a freshman, struggled, got burned a couple times.
Yeah.
Keely Ringo continues to struggle a bit for this Georgia team.
Having a hard time finding the football. Georgia has an issue there, okay? I mean, that's the truth. It's a beautiful thing, but now it's about perfection. Georgia's 13-0. They're getting ready to go into the college football playoff semifinals, and everybody's good. And the two teams that they're going to play, and let's face it, it's going to be Ohio State or TCU in the first round right here in this building. They're going to be looking at that tape. They're going to be licking their chops, about it. So there's much to shore up. I believe Georgia can play a whole lot better than they did today. But between this, what we saw in the Georgia Tech game, they've got some issues they've got to shore up.
You mentioned Stetson Bennett, Georgia quarterback, 4 touchdown passes for him. He looked sharp.
Yeah.
And the past couple weeks, he hasn't looked sharp. So maybe it's something about Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
He looks like a Heisman Trophy winner when he plays Oregon or when he plays against LSU here at Mercedes-Benz. What did you see from 6-year senior Stetson Bennett?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic game. And again, really that second quarter is the one that stood out. One of the most delightful exchanges I saw at this whole post game here tonight was when somebody brought up the Heisman question about Stetson to Kirby while Stetson's sitting right next to him.
Making all kinds of faces.
And Stetson's he's like, no. He puts his hand on Kirby. You don't have to, no. And Kirby, of course, went to bat for his guy. All the guy does is win. But he played fantastic here. And Stetson joked, I like playing here. So he was, a little bit. Kirby won't let him get much into it. A little bit about the next game. Probably going to be here in this building again. And if you look at what Stetson did against Oregon, that 49-3 game, almost perfect in that one as well. Perfect on third down conversions in that game. Close to that tonight. And then what he did tonight, I think it bodes well for Georgia. They have a chance to play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium 3 times in the same season. That's crazy.
They consider this their backyard, so I know they are eager to do that. Moving forward, like we said, it's probably going to be TCU or Ohio State.
Yeah.
USC loss.
Yeah.
If you're Georgia, what do you need to clean up from this game? Obviously, the secondary issues stand out.
Yeah.
What do you need to clean up, and what is this next month going to look like for Georgia? These next couple weeks going to look like for Georgia?
Yeah, well, as I alluded to, Georgia didn't look very good in this game last year. Even though the difference is they won by 20 points here tonight, which is incredible in and of itself. But they didn't play well at all against Alabama, and I think Kirby's going to do exactly what he did.
It almost gives you stuff to work on.
It gives you reason to do what you're going to do. He's talking about camp-style practices. He's talking about conditioning. What happens over the course of this is 14 weeks actually, 13 games over 14 weeks. Everybody gets banged up. Your tackling suffers. You're just not as invigorated about everything. Everything on your body hurts. So, I think you'll see Georgia really focus on physical therapy, physical conditioning, tackling, catching, and let's face it, the secondary's got to get a whole lot better. Some of that falls on the front seven.
Sure.
They kind of called off the Dogs a little bit in terms of really taking any risks trying to get after the quarterback. When they did, they had success. But I think you'll see them work on getting married together on that front.
Chet, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Thanks to all of you for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more videos just like this one.